Okay, welcome everyone to yet another one of our exciting webinars. We're waiting for all the guests to arrive. We actually ran about a minute late, but I'm happy to see that everybody were patient enough to wait for this session. Thank you. We'll be starting momentarily. I think Alex is preparing the PowerPoint slide. Which is, you should all see it on the screen right now. As always, you can leave your questions in chat and we will address them as they come up or at the end of the session. And this webinar will be available. Right now it's live on YouTube also, and will be available as a replay on YouTube. So if you miss anything, you can catch everything there. And my name is Yuri Fried. I'm with Trusted IT Group, and Alex Rodov is going to be conducting this exciting webinar where we're going to be going through and sort of almost like a product review session of the top 5 project management solutions, actually tools that are that we personally use. We're partners with most of these vendors. We're familiar with them, and we're going to bring a very sort of unbiased review of these solutions for you. And without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Alex. Alex Rodov are you ready?
Yep. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I can hear you. Want to make
Okay.
sure if there's any issues in the chat, if loud and clear. Yes, so we got loud and clear.
Perfect. Thanks, Yuri, for the intro. I do want to thank everybody for joining us today. And for any of you who are watching this on YouTube, we do appreciate you and thank you for taking time to listen to us. We're prepping some of this information for you, and we're happy to have you as our customers. Some of you are our customers, and some of you may become our customers. But at this point, I do want to thank everyone for joining. So the topic for today is top 5 project management solutions for 2021. I'm sure we have a lot to say about 2020. I'm sure we have a lot to say about the starting of the 2021. Look, it's a tough times for everybody. We hope that things go back to normal. The sooner the better. And when we need to do the work, when we need to work on the project, we do want to make sure we're doing it efficiently, remotely in many cases. And we're going to look at some of the solutions today. So full disclaimer here is basically, look, it's not, project management is not necessarily exact science. So what you see is here is my subjective opinion about things. I could do some of the research for these tools. We do work with them with many of these tools on a daily basis. So we do have experience, but please don't make any financial decisions or anything based on this information. You do need to still conduct your own research, but hopefully this information will help you get some of that research done, and you will be able to move on with your decision as to which solution would fit best for you. All right. So we are going to review 5 solutions. Jira, and actually Jira software, that's the actual name of the solution. Microsoft Project, this is a bigger, like a big umbrella, and we can we'll decompose this into a smaller ones and see what's what in there. Monday.com, PowerPPM, ServiceNow. So these are probably most familiar to a lot of you. Some of you may say, why would some other tool didn't make it into this top 5? Again, this is just subjectively for my experience working with all kinds of PMO organizations across industries, across the spectrum of whether it's a small business or if you're a Fortune 50 company. I've seen all of it, basically everywhere, most of it everywhere. And these are the top 5 that came to mind for me. Again, I'm not the last resort to narrow this list down to 5. Feel free to kind of bring out other things, other apps, other solutions to the table. These are the 5 that we're going to look at today. Okay. So we're going to look at some of the capabilities. We're going to look at some of the features. We're going to look at some of the implementation complexity. We're going to look at some, cost to own some of this, the pricing, the reporting, security, compliance, easy to implement, easy to understand, the training complexity, all kinds of issues, all kinds of, well, not the issues, all kinds of obstacles down the road when we're embarked on something like this. Obviously, it's not an easy thing to do. So we start with Jira. In particular, Atlassian has all kinds of products. So Jira software is one of the probably major locomotives, major ones in the arsenal. We're not going to review anything else other than Jira software. However, some of you would argue that and say, well, part of the process, we also have Confluence, we have other BitLocker or things like that. So folks who are more familiar with the Jira would be able to expand on that. Focusing on Jira software specifically. So for foremost, this is the tool. This is the solution, and I wouldn't call it a tool or solution. I would like to call it a solution because it's a combination of many different things. But this is the software solution for development and agile teams. So the software development and agile teams. This is the focus. If you're like a construction company, if you're project managing non-IT, non-software development project, Jira software would not be the best solution for you. So that's the focus. And each of these solutions have their own specific focus. A lot of times it is software development and IT, but the Jira software specifically focusing on agile and software development. So there's an ability to plan and to track within Jira, right? So we can set up the for those of you familiar, sorry for repeating this, you already may know already some of this information, but some of the folks who are watching, in Jira you have a plan, you have a way to set up a backlog, and then you have plan. You can build the pipeline of those items that you need to work on, and then you'd be able to track them. So by putting them on boards, so you put them from the backlog onto your board, and then on the board you would have this phases or stages like to do, in progress, review, and done. And you can manage the way the steps are called and basically track. So planning and tracking is part of the project management aspect of managing agile projects. This is basically like in a really nutshell, in a very high level overview of what the Jira software is looking like. And this is the board, right? And you can see, you can drag and drop, and very modern kind of cool interface to manage these projects. So it also helps to manage releases. So when you release the software, versions and things like that, you can manage the releases there. So this is the release management module where you can put your releases and put the versions and kind of have that control over this process within Jira software. All right, so there's a quicker view of how the releases are organized. I mean, I'm sure there's we're a partner of Jira. We have in our possession all sorts of trainings available, so we can share and help you guys to get on board with Jira if you decide to use Jira at some point. Choose to work or make it your own. So this is a sample and an overview of the workflow. There's already preset workflows out there, but it's fairly, I would say, compared to others, maybe not so easy to change the workflow, because there's a lot of ins and outs that needs to be taken into account. But there's basically a basic workflow. When you open an issue, right, an item, a task, and then it's in progress and it's under review and final approval and done. So you can have some of this workflow applied to some of those work items within Jira. And you can have all sorts of Scrum boards. You can have, Kanban boards, and I'm not getting into the details of what's the difference between the two, but there's all sorts of agile flavors within Jira software that allows you to manage boards, all sorts of boards, Scrum boards and Kanban boards, and things like that. All right. The reporting is obviously part of the solution. A lot of out-of-the-box reports, sprint type reports, burn down charts, all kinds of agile. If you're a master, Scrum master, or anywhere have at any point had any formal or certificate from agile development, you'll be able to get a lot of information, a lot of insight from these reports. All right. Deployment flexibility. The deployment could be done for the Jira software. There are all kinds of there are three ways. Basically, the cloud solution, which is totally hosted by Atlassian. The server solutions, you can host it on your own. Data center self-hosted or deployed with cloud provider. So the third option is more for the larger enterprise, where you need to account for a lot of flexibility, and the amounts of information flying in and out is significant. Then you have options to basically start from very, very simple and then go totally ballistic on full scale enterprise. So the pricing wise, we're going to kind of review all of the solutions like in a kind of grid format, a grid view, where we can kind of put all the some of these metrics in kind of one table. But just from the pricing perspective, you can start up to 10 users free. And I wonder, it's funny, Atlassian folks, they say forever, right? So if you have the small team, up to 10 people, you can sign up for Jira software, get it free up to 10 users. Well, guess what? Starting from 10 users, once you get the 10 users and up, this is going to cost you $7 a user, right? So depends on what the size of the team. These are the considerations. Like obviously, the more users you have, the less expensive per user it becomes. Volume type of discount, but that's gonna giving you the idea of how the pricing is structured. This is also the cloud version of it. There's also a enterprise version of it. Again, more details if you need to. Please feel free to follow up with us. We'll be happy to help you and go over the pricing, go over the implementation, training, anything like that. All right, this is Jira. Now let's talk about Microsoft Project. Obviously, we are also Microsoft Project, Microsoft partner, gold partner, and we've been working quite a bit, to say the least, with Microsoft PPM solutions. And obviously, this is probably our, we're probably the most experienced in the Microsoft framework, if you will. As far as the Microsoft PPM, Microsoft is very much focusing on the cloud. They're very much aligned with the digital transformation. So we used to all have this old-fashioned, old-looking Microsoft project schedule, which a lot of us have learned over the years. But a lot of this has moved to the cloud. So a lot of this has been moving to the cloud quite a bit, and we're looking at the Microsoft PPM not just as a Microsoft project kind of standalone. This is basically representing the the ecosystem of different apps that are involved into this process. And part of this Microsoft cloud equation, you can see there's Microsoft PPM. We're gonna expand this a little further. But you can also see that there's Azure cloud solutions, Azure services and workloads that most likely you're already using, a Power BI as a visualization, as a reporting solution, and that supplements the Power PPM. The Office 365, obviously we work and communicate within our project management process through collaboration tools like Teams, like Outlook, right, and tasks in Outlook, things like that. Dynamics 365, if you do have the business apps like CRMs and stuff like that, part of your Microsoft stack that also participates in this process. Um, Old name for the VSTS here on this slide, apologies for this, the Azure DevOps, the Agile Shop for Microsoft PPM. So you can see that the Microsoft PPM is a big umbrella that has a lot of tools within that umbrella. I should say under the umbrella. The planners is a kind of low hanging, easy, citizen project management tools, that type of thing. So when we talk about the Microsoft PPM and tools, we'll look at the apps, and the focus on the apps from Microsoft perspective is everything is focusing on a specific app, which basically build a better bridge, better connection with the user. So what else do we communicate? We communicate apps, documents, financial numbers. We collaborate. We have tasks to complete. We build relationships. We process a lot of data. Has to be secured. It has to be communicated efficiently, like not old-fashioned like meetings and stuff like that. You need to have chats, meetings, teams, sharing screens, recordings, things like that. Workflows, automating the process, reporting, building the governance, and having a methodology within our project life cycles. So all of this is part of the Microsoft, and I don't. We only have 1 hour to kind of go through all of this 5 solutions. So I'm gonna put as much as I can, talk about as much as I can. But feel free to ask any questions specifically about any of the solutions, and I hope that I'll be able to answer. The kind of overall the structure and the ecosystem of these apps within Microsoft and how the Microsoft PPM fits into it is everything is basically running on Azure, and around the Azure we have Office apps, we have Power apps, we have independent software vendors, additional apps, anything, all solutions that we build on top of this. Azure DevOps is an agile shop for the PPM project, and then the whole project for the web and the entire project system there. Dynamics 365 with new stuff like project operations, former PSA, and Dynamics apps like CRM and marketing and financial. So everything basically falls in and out as far as communication. Sorry, this is kind of busy slide, but I'll let you digest on this one a little bit. We do work with Teams a lot, and again, you can see that Teams here is basically a focal point as far as communication goes. We use Teams all day long, especially now where we all remote. Well, most of us remote. We use Teams. This is like the go-to. I mean, everything is through Teams, and we started noticing that we'd like to focus and build the communication for our project management process around the Teams, and that's part of the Microsoft strategy as well. So that's why this slide kind of represents all the Microsoft all the Microsoft project management attributes flying in and out, and how they interact, and how it is basically going through Teams all the time. Automation allows you to create automations for some of those, and for some of you who are familiar with the graph, we can build additional automation based on using the graph platform for the APIs. So moving to the next point here, we would like to also say that Microsoft PPM is focusing today on, let me just yeah, there we go. Focusing a lot on the Microsoft Power Platform, and you've probably heard a lot. What's the Power Platform? Power Platform. So number one, the PowerPoint is not one of them, as you can see here. But Everything basically in Microsoft that starts with a power has a power in a name. This is where it's related to. So Microsoft Power BI, which is a reporting solution, the Power Automate, which is the workflow and automation solution, the Power Apps, the solution allowing us to create all kinds of different apps, mobile apps, desktop apps, well, web apps, to focus on the business and process and zoom into the specific business process and basically give it, let the specific users to start using those business apps where they really need to. Extremely new, well, not extremely new, but extremely efficient. It's relatively new, but extremely efficient. What relatively new is the Power Virtual Agent, allowing us to create all kinds of additional automation when it comes to supporting and maintenance of those apps. For vendors like us, for example, we're a managed services vendor. We have a lot of our customers. We have our solutions deployed all over the place, and having something like this obviously centralizes our communication with those end users, with the customers, and partners like us who are maintaining and supporting. Anyway, with that, this is kind of concludes the Microsoft overview. You can see that we deal with a lot of things as far as project management goes, and you can see that any of these data points are relevant to project management one way or the another. So for us, for you guys as a project managers, or for you who are involved into the project management, to push any of these initiatives, to push any of these projects forward, you really need to get your hand involved into all of these aspects. So being able to efficiently communicate between those nodes, right? This is becoming very, very critical. So Microsoft really kind of trying to get this all wrapped up and built. And basically, it organizes everything into the three major things: Azure, Dynamics, and Office. So the Azure is where everything is hosted, very technical part of the house. The Office on the left side, Office is very facing, like customer facing, communication wide. Everything goes through the Office when it comes to communication, Teams, tasks, channels, things like that, meetings and things like that, primarily Teams, right, and emails. And Dynamics 365, this is where the business specific process is being baked, and you can build a lot of good business apps, and the project management business apps are built on top of the Dynamics 365 framework. Anyway, I hope I'm not creating too many additional questions. As far as the pricing, these are the numbers. Basically, you can have the project for the web and project plan 1 for $10 per user per month. For some of the additional features, you may need the project plan 3 and additional features, project plan 5. Obviously, there's cloud solution and on-prem solution, so accommodating all sorts of organizations where you need to grow as you go, basically, right? So again, if you do have any specific questions about Microsoft PPM and how this entire ecosystem fits into your, possibly fits into your specific organization, we would love to get on the phone with you, show you some demos, information, pricing, and discuss any of those aspects. So feel free to reach out. All right. Next one is Monday.com. All right. You can, Monday.com is interesting, interesting solution here, and I'll let you guys take a quick look at the quick video, and I think this just really summarizes the Monday.com, and I will have some more slides to kind of talk about this a little bit. But here we go. I'll let you take a quick video. Let you take a quick video. Take a look at this.
Monday.com is a work OS designed to manage any project or workflow with ease. The flexibility of the platform empowers teams to work in a fast, dynamic way. More than 100,000 companies of all shapes and sizes count on Monday.com to plan, manage, and track their work. Let's start with a board. Here is where the magic happens. It's a fully customizable table where you can shape any workflow in minutes. From sales and marketing to HR, support, and engineering, you name it. Track everything your team is working on, collaborate with your teammates, and visualize your work data in different ways. To ensure you get off to a smooth start, we've created ready-made templates so you can start collaborating instantly. Want to get your mind blown? Meet automations. Monday.com provides a wide variety of automation recipes. You'll be amazed at how simple it is to set them up. Your team can move faster and make an impact while leaving the grunt work to robots. From sending out an SMS or Slack message once the status changes, to automatically turning emails from your inbox into prioritized, scheduled, and allocated tasks, while notifying all team members when they're up. Dashboards show you the bigger picture, providing you with key insights across all projects and teams, so you can make decisions based on data, not guesses. See the progress of major projects, spot bottlenecks within departments, or grow a llama farm that shows the status of your projects. Track budgets, profitability, pipelines, or any metric your team measures for success. Monday.com seamlessly integrates with all the tools you already use: email, calendar, messaging apps, CRMs, and much more. It centralizes everyone's work into one shared workspace, allowing information to be easily accessible to the teams that need it. Break those information silos so you and your team can work better together. Monday.com, making teamwork click.
All right, so now you've seen the video. I mean, obviously, this is a pretty cool video, and it sounds, it sounds very easy, and everything is flying, and the colors are nice. I mean, look, it's a great tool. I have not personally, fully got the entire grasp on it, but I can tell you that based on what I have found, a lot of these features are really great, and a lot of these features are really nice. So it's emphasis on the collaboration a lot, and the way it looks, the way it feels, the way you kind of interact with it. From that perspective, I do give them the 5 stars. From that perspective, you can really get to see all kinds of information on a mobile device as well. You can see a lot of this like an approvals and things on the go that you need to just click and get it done. So from the mobility perspective, I think this is a great solution. As far as the understanding and there's the attempt for the resource management here, and I'm unfortunately cannot tell you whether this is something that is really robust for the enterprise. But from the resource, high level resource management perspective, I think this is a great solution. And I mean, it looks promising, looks great. Sounds like you can also add some additional attributes and then some columns here and there, and you can run some reports. So from the usability perspective, from the way it actually being presented, I do have a high expectations to be honest with you. So so from that perspective, unfortunately, I wasn't able to 100% had I kind of experience the life and the day in the life of a project manager or anyone within Monday.com. But I know that a lot of feedback we get from some of the other customers that this is a really nice tool to manage. I would also say that you can run all sorts of processes within the project. You can also see the progress. You can assign the tasks to the team, and you can look at the team's calendar and how their work is how their plate is busy, how their plate is full, or that their schedule is full. So all of these features are there, and very much the interface is very, very nice. So I do want to kind of emphasize on that. It sounds like it may have a little bit more complexity when you need to start engaging other line of business applications along with it, like in maybe the integration, some of the financial information, or maybe integration part of the tracking through other tool, or using different tools within one tool. So when you have like other teams that are using agile tools like Jira, for example, or Pivotal Tracker, or maybe something else, or Azure DevOps, fitting that into the framework overall may have a little bit of a challenge. But if you really need a high level, very simple, easy to go, easy to start, solution, this is probably the easiest to start with, because you can basically click and go and get the thing rolling. Portfolio tracking, program tracking, product roadmap, all kinds of attributes of scaled PPM application. I think you can see that a lot of this is very, very scaled out operations, and based on the client list, we can tell that it's been pretty popular. Anyway, from the cost perspective, you can see that there's most popular standard, $10 per seat per month. There's basic one, there's no free one, right? But there's basic, standard, pro, and enterprise. And pricing wise, I think it's priced reasonably, and you can try for free, right? There's no free plan, but you can try for free. And obviously on the description of the webinar or on the YouTube description, you'll be able to find the link where you can actually get more information and get more information about the features and which features are included into any of these plans. All right, so this is Monday.com. Now let's talk about the Power PPM. Power PPM is one of our new solutions, and this is something that was developed with our partner, and we're happy to be representing also part of the Power PPM, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. From the solution perspective, this is Microsoft based, right? So the Power Platform based solution. So in a sense, Microsoft has its own PPM solution, which is Project for the Web, which is Project Online, Project Server on-prem, right? Or Project Operations, part of the Dynamics family. A lot of different solutions within Microsoft that are Microsoft solutions. This is the Power PPM is a solution that is based on Power Platform. So this is basically a data-driven app with all kinds of solutions behind the scenes. But overall, this is a Power PPM solution that is designed to have the business logic and governance. We do have some of the ability to integrate, where actually the great ability to integrate with the Project for the Web. We have the ability to run program management frameworks. We have the ability to run project portfolio management frameworks. We have all sorts of risks, issues, documents, change requests, on and on and on. I do want to stress that part of the family of the Power PPM, we do have also the Team Planner, where it's the complementing the Power PPM with the resource management, drag and drop type of capabilities within Teams environments, again, built on Microsoft. Within Teams environment, being able to start, putting these team members and drag them into the project, assign them to, to those month of work or weeks of work, and then have the resource balancing exercise be ready for running. So quickly running through the features, the ideation feature allowing you to create ideas at an early stage of the project that are turning into projects at some point. Again, this process also can be changed. The business case, you can build the business case, you can have the governance and the workflow within the company where you build in the business cases before they get in front of the approval board and get those projects approved. So there's all kinds of additional business processes that we can incorporate into maturing the ideas into the business case and then into the project. Financial forecasting, we can put all the financials, CapEx, OpEx numbers into the project, into the timeline, and be able to see and project and report based on the variances as far as financials. Risk management, best practices, where we incorporate the risk matrices, and we are collecting the risks for the project, the program, for the portfolio. Key performance indicators. These are the best practices that we come up with as far as indicating the KPIs, as far as overall status, as far as scope status, as far as cost status, quality, schedule, and financials. And resources. I'm sorry, and resources. So this is where we can subjectively or not so subjectively set the KPIs, put the narrative, and then have this being part of the status report. Changes and issues, change requests, obviously part of the solution at the moment. Part of the solution at the moment, change requests, the issues that are also being managed and stored and logged in the solution. Status reporting, automated status reporting. This is part of this is a very interesting and new addition where we can generate automatically status reports and generate PDFs or PowerPoints or Word documents based on the dynamic information coming from the actual solution and have that delivered to your email on a scheduled basis. That is something really, really cool that I think everyone should appreciate at some point. Portfolio and programs. Now we can see across program, across projects, build the dependencies and have this master schedules as part of the web solution, as part of the Power PPM. I think this is extremely powerful for those organizations where you do have cross-project dependencies. When some teams on one project need to deliver something to another team on another project, they have different managers, there are different departments, but you can actually link those two and have this part of your management framework when you manage a program across a large amount of projects. So that's something that really, really powerful when it comes to the enterprise project management. Demand and capacity, again, part of that resource management edition called the team planner, where we can drag and drop and very quickly assign our teams, our roles to some of these projects at a high level, and then quickly build that demand pipeline of those resources for our projects and see that the demand versus capacity versus basically, which is supply versus demand, right? Supply versus demand charts. And we can see whether we are really over or under allocating our teams for that portfolio that we approved for the next year. Timesheets, part of the solution, can grab the timesheets and actually pull the lines into our timesheets from Jira. We can put timesheet lines from Azure DevOps. We can put timesheet line items from Project Online, from basically anything you can think of. This timesheet solution is pulling in the information from all kinds of systems and building you one central time tracking solution. So that is extremely powerful. Most of the other solutions, they only take the information from their own tasks within those solutions, but this solution is really looking out and accepting all kinds of integrations and accepting all kinds of line items into the timesheets. What if scenarios, simulations, AI additions, where there's a lot of this is on the pipeline. A lot of this has already been done. A lot has been cooked as we speak. But a lot of information we analyze and be able to run what if scenario. Governance and auditing are very important for some organizations, and we have extremely robust system to run the governance, and we can lock it down. We can open this up, make it easy to run through the governance steps, make it not so easy to run through governance steps, make it run through governance steps with some approval steps into the email and things like that. All of this is very, very much part of the solution. Machine learning and AI, I just mentioned that we're, all of this is part of the data stack that we can now feed into the Microsoft AI machine learning services and get some results from there. So from the Power PPM perspective, I do want to mention that anything that is Power PPM related, or as a matter of fact, Power Platform related, is very much quickly getting on. We're very much mobile ready. So you can have the app, the actual app, the button on your phone. You can click and get to the solution in one click, and get to your projects, get to your timesheets, get to your strategic themes, get to your portfolios, programs, actually change things right there on the on the fly, on the go. Very, very powerful. As far as the pricing, well, there's basically a concept of based on organization of 75 users or so, you're looking at the price of about $20 per user. But again, if you have a specific question, I know this is I know the pricing is kind of flexible based on organization. So feel free to reach out to us. We will look at everything. We'll look at the numbers. We'll look at the volumes, and we'll be able to accommodate and get you the pricing that is right for you. All right, ServiceNow is the last one on the list. And the ServiceNow is, I do want to say about the ServiceNow a little bit before we move to the slides. ServiceNow is by nature is not necessarily built to run to help. It's not built for the project management organization. Let's just put it this way. It's originally built for the service management. Right, but that's the name, ServiceNow. So the service management. So when you have requests, tickets, when you have a lot of requests, not just IT requests, but all kinds of requests in organization that running through this giant workflow process, and everybody's involved, not just project managers, but everybody. But within the ServiceNow, there's a project management module that is basically tailored and designed to run projects. But I do want to say that it's not the major module, but it's a complementing module to the rest of the modules. But we're going to review only the project management part of it. So the innovation portal that encourages teams to collaborate, develop concepts, and turn ideas into demand. So obviously, when you have those, the service management where you have the requests are coming in, some of the requests may come in and say, hey, I want to build I build a car, right? I want to build a new phone, or I'm going to do something, build something new, and that could turn into the project. And this is where you turn it into the project, and the process that allows you to kind of follow some of the governance steps to turn it into the project. And now we're looking at the portfolio workbench, where the view demands and projects and plan the portfolio and track its progress all in central location. The ways to kind of build those project items in there and kind of track, and you can very, roughly and lightly say you can track the progress of this project and say whether this is done, not done, at the very, I would say, high enough level. You can also add a financial component to it, investment funding, and you can put some numbers against those initiatives. And you can see a timeline. You can put, put some financial numbers and make it, OPEX, COPEX for the project, and then some, sort of accounting will be also part of the solution. And I'd like to mention that there's a very powerful attribute of the project management, which is the combination and this in this case, this is called, I'm afraid to make a mistake, RIDAC. I have not heard this term, so I mean, I hope it's not, you miss a day at work, you come next day, and all of a sudden there's a kind of new term, and you feel like you missed out the whole career because you missed out the new acronym. You know what? I hope I didn't miss anything, but this is RIDAC, and I think it's a fair, a cool way to call the risks, issues, decisions, actions, and changes. I think it's a great way to call it. ServiceNow have been able to manage to kind of organize this all into sort of one package here, which is nice. So obviously, these are the project management attributes as far as the solution goes: risks, issues, decisions, actions, and changes. I think it's a great way to kind of combine them all together. Creating the project workspace where you can, kind of put things out there and plan and track and monitor, put some KPIs and kind of have it all in one kind of central location. It doesn't really have a lot of scheduling in it, right? But it has well, other attributes that are, from the business perspective also important, and probably can answer questions like, well, when are we going to be done? And you may not have the entire, best practice as far as dynamic scheduling to say, oh, if I put, the waterfall style tasks in a row, I'll be able to tell you that we're going to be done in like, in 6 months. This is more informative, just to keep everything organized, project by project, space for the project, and kind of keeps things very easy to manage in a sense. Sorry. Additional project and portfolio management features. So we'll look at the mobile project status. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to grab some water. 1 second.
Actually, as Alex grabbing some water, this may be a perfect timing to do a very short anonymous poll. As always, we try to, pull some questions together for you guys, just to give us a sense of if we're heading in the right direction with these webinars. So if you just take and this is only one question today, and as I said, it is anonymous, so if you take a moment just to answer this question for us, would be extremely helpful. Let me launch the poll now.
Wow, we do have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I try to keep up with the questions as they come up also. Okay, well, looks like everyone kind of, yes, we're ready to stop the polls and share the results. Well, it's interesting. Ironically, so not by any intent or so, ServiceNow was sort of on the bottom of our list. And as you could see, it's also on the bottom of yours.
Yeah.
All right.
So stop sharing results. All right. Shall we continue, Yuri?
Yes. Go right ahead.
So yeah, just to wrap up, the ServiceNow additional features are there. Mobile project status. They do have a mobile app to work with. Project portfolio, resource management, demand management, innovation management, agile development. So all those modules are there. I mean, I have not been exposed too much to be able to fully, live through or implement those. But it seems like it's an addition to major modules of the ServiceNow, and it's naturally, maybe probably trailing a little bit behind. And again, this is my own opinion about this, and don't please don't take my word, take my word for it. But um, uh, forgot what the idiom about this. But anyway, don't hold me accountable if you make a decision based on what I just said. But anyway, just to compare to the Jira, for example, like Jira software is, this is the core product for them, versus ServiceNow, the project management, product module is not the major product. It's a supplemental product. So that's kind of naturally it would have a little bit less adoption than Jira, for example. Anyway, I do have another the next slide that I do want to spend just a little bit of time where we can when we can talk about all of these tools. Just speaking of the ServiceNow again, to wrap up the pricing. Pricing is up on request, and I've heard, I know that it's not as cheap as you want it to be, but I don't want to tell you the exact number because there's no official like public pricing available. You have to actually request the pricing. So I'll let it unanswered right now, but as far as I know, it's not that cheap to own ServiceNow. Anyway, this is sort of the resulting table, if you will. And again, this is just my own opinion about this based on my experience working with this tool, training organizations and these tools. Most of these tools. We've been implementing, we've been integrating, we've been training people and organizations on all of these tools, including ServiceNow. Okay, so with that in mind, again, I do apologize for the ServiceNow people and Monday.com people and project people and Jira people and PowerPPM people for maybe you don't like some of my answers here, but this is again my honest opinion about all of this. So you can look at the scheduling, implementation, complexity. We looked at resource management, maintenance, scalability, integration, security, agility, pricing, program and portfolio management capabilities, reporting, mobile ready, project governance. I mean, I'm sure you can probably extend this list with 20 more other capabilities. These are the ones that I have chosen to look at. And based on some of these metrics that I put here, and like 5 stars is like I like it more than the 3 stars, and like it more than the 2 stars, and like it more than 1 star. So some of this I put different stars here, and the number 1 is coming up as a PowerPPM, just again from the perspective of the flexibility and ability to actually achieve the great deal of the scheduling, achieve the great implementation strategy. We can really roll this out quickly, and again, could be just because we are more experienced with PowerPPM than with, let's just say, Jira, or maybe let's just say Monday.com. But Monday.com is coming up as also very, very quick deployment concept. So resource management, maintenance, and I can probably expand on any of these topics and kind of give you a little bit more details as to why I scored such and such on such a for certain solution for certain capability. The project governance, for example, we scored the PowerPPM scored pretty high as far as project governance and ability to accommodate all sorts of complex and not so complex governance models. At the same time, being as simple as possible. without the governance. So that's the flexibility that's why we are scoring so high on some of these other capabilities. Let's just say the project, program and portfolio management, the project online, and Microsoft solution is scoring pretty high on that one, as far as the capability for the portfolio management and being able to roll up a lot of, thousands and hundreds and thousands of resources and thousands of projects into one big portfolio. It's been proven to be the solution that is really scalable. What are the top scorers here? Also, the Microsoft solutions score pretty high on scheduling, and proved to be basically the standard for the common, modern dynamic scheduling, where basically most of the other solutions are following. And I think also Microsoft scored pretty high in security and being able to be compliant, government compliant. And I mean, this compliance list is so long. I cannot even mention all the compliance certificates that that Microsoft has. I think the Jira is scoring pretty high on agility. Obviously, the agility, it comes to the scrums and managing quickly, managing the Scrum frameworks, the scaled agile frameworks and things like that. Mobile ready also, and mobile ready is Monday.com scoring Monday.com is actually scoring pretty high on a lot of these things. Pricing is probably the least, that's what I found. It's Monday.com is probably the least pricey than others. Scoring pretty high on the mobile ready. Right behind, right at the same time with Jira software. Power PPM is kind of close, but it's like 3 stars versus 5 stars. That's my opinion. ServiceNow is probably would be 5 if that would have a lot of these capabilities within mobile. They do have mobile capabilities. I'm not sure how advanced their mobile capability would be. What is it here? We do have Power PPM scored on the scalability. So the scalability and integration, where the Power PPM in this case leveraging the Power Automate, which can basically integrate anything, right, with anything. But having that flexibility, having that ability under the hood, this is very, very powerful with integration and for scalability. And having that secured as part of the Microsoft PPM is also.
Alex, sorry to interrupt, but we're running out of time at the top of the hour, and there are actually a few good questions in the chat. So maybe we may want to, address a couple of them.
Sure.
One of the questions is, can you give more details of the difference between MS Project and Power PPM?
So the MS Project, if you call it MS Project as an overall Microsoft ecosystem of solutions, and this is not just one solution, because Microsoft Project, has Microsoft Project Desktop, okay, as a desktop solution. Microsoft Project has the other solution called Project Online. Microsoft Project has Project for the web. Microsoft Project has Project Operations. So this all falls under.
And also Planner in a very simplistic way, right?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Sorry, I keep forgetting. There's there's so many of them. So this is the different. There's like I just named like 5 different solutions, right, under just Microsoft PPM. So the Power PPM is a one specific solution. The Microsoft PPM has many different solutions. So, and each of the solution is good for a specific circumstance. It's good for a specific organization, for a specific process, for a specific size, for a specific budget, for a specific purpose, right? The Power PPM is a separate solution which is built on top of the Power Platform. And that actually also has a flavor of some of this Microsoft solutions. So it's a sort of a overlap in some cases of some of the Microsoft solutions and solutions part of the Power PPM. But Power PPM largely is designed to be an overarching, simple, easy to use umbrella that is welcoming and open to work with other solutions like Jira, like Azure DevOps, like Pivotal Tracker, like I'm calling agile solutions, but other business applications as well. So it's designed to serve a specific purpose, but it's basically very flexible. There's one tool for a lot of circumstances versus Microsoft has different tool for different circumstances. That's probably the difference. If I may answer this question like this.
Yeah. And the other question is when it comes to security, how is that managed between different project, program, and portfolio roles for each solution? I think methodology is probably very similar.
In security, are you talking about the security?
Yeah, when it comes to security,
Yeah.
specifically
So
between different, like across projects, across programs, or across portfolios.
right, is it a question about a specific solution or?
Well, it's for each solution. I don't know if we have time to answer it for each.
Yeah, I can tell you. I can right now. I can only tell you this. So some of the solutions, they do have the security features that are included in their higher level plans. So, for example, like if you would like to set up a security that only certain people can see certain things, this is the feature on some of the applications where you can only allow this for at a certain level of the pricing model. In other solution, in other solutions, it's already baked in. It's just a matter of configuring them. But most of these solutions, they do have this security model where you can be flexible in the way you assign the permissions, so you can only see certain things on certain conditions.
Okay. And then the other question is, what do you mean by agility in this comparison selection criteria?
Yeah, agility is basically compliance and conformance with modern agile methodologies, like Scrum, like Kanban, like Agile Scrum, safe scaled Agile frameworks and things like that. So the ability to run Agile projects.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. And I think last one I'm answering in chat. So I think that wraps it up. We're only 3 minutes over. And, it was a great summary and review.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks again. I do want to thanks everybody for stopping by. We appreciate your spending time with us. And anyone who's looking on YouTube, thank you for watching, and we do appreciate all of your time. And hopefully, we'll be able to reconnect anytime soon. Watch out for other webinars. If you're on YouTube, then hit that subscribe button. And we'll be able to stay in contact further down. But again, thanks so much for listening, for watching, and have a great day. Thank you.
Right. Thank you all.